So here it is. Today we'll be talking about in terms of your security monitoring and log management. So types of logs we'll talk about, our security management concept we'll talk about. We'll talk about in terms of security information and event management, our SIEM solutions and systems. Okay. So these things will be going to talk about in today's session. See, next thing is regarding logs. In generally, what you will encounter when you talk about in terms of SOC world, you will encounter three words. What do we encounter? Three words which I'm talking about are those are we have logs, we have events, and we have incidents. Okay, incident is an unplanned interruption in the database services. Events are incident. After incident, logs are formed. Okay, nice. Even Rajnikant, I would say events would be like a logs only. So logs are nothing. They are just the collection of those informations or the data on events which are generating in the form of audit trail, right? Or audit trail. So any collection of informations or data which is there on events that is part of your that is known as a logs only in simple way. Event is like occurrence of something. Okay, any activity which you do, it is known as a event only. Okay, so yes, Jitan, nicely said. So as I mentioned, event, it is a type of log only with having some context in it, and which is generated by anything like by any various devices on your network, right? And these events are stored as logs only, right? So any event can be occurrence of anything, as I mentioned, any activity which you are doing, that will be counted as event only. And when that event has some adverse effect, that will be known as your incidents. Okay, so when an event has some adverse effect, that will be known as your incidents. So for example, when you have like any someone successfully logged in into their account, can we say it's an event generated that same logged into his on his own account? Perfect. Now that event are stored as logs only, correct? So if someone is trying to log in, let's suppose we have multiple login failure attempts. So the trail of those login failure events will be part of your you can say logs. Okay, capturing the trail. And when we talk about in terms of incident, as I mentioned, incident is the adverse effect of an event. Incident is the adverse effect of an event. So any event which is malicious or something which causes some damage will be known as your incident only, right? So incident, in simple words, it is an event. Incident is an event that can affect the security of the organization. That is known as a incident. Any event that can cause the or that can so for example, if I drop a bottle of water at this moment, like with this simple example, if I drop a bottle of water at this moment, this will be known as your event. But if I say I dropped that bottle of water on my foot and I got injury out of it, that will be known as your incident, right? So every incident is an event, but every event cannot be an incident. Perfect. So logs are, as I mentioned, these are those events which are generated. They are stored as logs only. So any login failure attempts, like multiple login failure attempts, uh, they'll be counted as they'll be stored as the logs only. So logs are chronological records of events in an application or system. It gives a detailed view of every action, what happened, where and how it happened, and who was involved. Log data can come from web servers, application codes, databases, network devices, and many more places. These logs can be created. That's fine. So types of logs are mentioned over here. We have logs from what system logs are there, security logs, network logs, application log, transaction log, audit logs, various when we talk about logs over here, in the image itself, it's self-explanatory. Like for example, when we talk about system logs, so capture operating systems events for troubleshooting and for monitoring. Security logs record safety-related events to track breaches and malicious activity, like maybe any login attempt. Network log track network activities to diagnose issues and mitigate the strategies. Application logs track errors, any application crashes, warning incident in software application. Transaction logs record databases and payment transaction to ensure data integrity. And audit logs documents events for accountability, so that we can say that okay, this was done by SIEM only, that accountability, and for the compliance purpose and for the integrity purpose as well. So these are types of logs. When we talk about like logs to be seen in the Windows, a simple example, um, you just have to simply search for event viewer. It will show you. Let it load. Yeah. So in Windows logs, this section. Yeah. So as I was saying, see, can you see for application the logs are created over here, guys, along with the event ID. For security, we can see some logs are there. So there are security related logs. You can open them and you can get the details as well. See here. Task category user account management, event ID 4798. See, you might be wondering that Sayam, why are you showing us these kind of things? How they are useful to us? Correct? Might be wondering this. So if you remember, I told you that all of these logs are being integrated into a SIM solution. Remember that? SIM solutions, correct? In some SIM solutions, when you're trying to look out for some things, when you're getting some rules, alerts, or hunting, even when you're hunting in SOC, can I say these event IDs are very helpful? Like if you know what is the login attempt, like to event ID for the login attempt, event ID for login failure attempts. So as per that, can we make some rules that if we got multiple login failure attempts or we get multiple these event IDs within 2 minutes of a time frame, that is something suspicious to us, correct? Isn't it? I have a great book for that. What I meant with that is, just a minute, I'll show you. I'm just trying to open that PDF file. Pretty good list of events, right? Over here, I'm just showing you. So event IDs, which you just saw, they have these respective fields in it: log name, source, event ID, level, user, opcode, log, task category, keywords, everything. So these are list of events which are very useful in terms of monitoring it. Now see, there are many events, right? It's not possible to remember each and every event. You also agree with the same? So at least we can remember a couple of them, which are the most important ones, right? Rest, what people also tend to do, people tend to keep these kind of a cheat sheets, okay, in order to work. So this is very good. It's like a good help which is assisting them in order to fetch out things in terms of event IDs. So makes sense what I'm trying to tell you over here in terms of like system setup, security and application based. So we get warnings over here, we get informations, and we get the event IDs, these kind of things. Yes, guys, I can share it, but you have to personally connect with me for the same. I'll share it with you guys then. So you have my LinkedIn ID, you have my number. You can ask me for the same, and I can share it with you. And I have no issues in that. So as I was saying, for the system logs, for security logs, we have record safe traded, like like any login attempts and all those things. Network logs are there. The track network activities to diagnose issues and mitigate the threats which are present over there. Application logs are there, which you just saw as well. Right? Any application crashes or something like which is not running. So tracking those errors, warning, incident, software application. It's all about that. So 462, for example, it is like a logon attempt to the system. Okay. So there are also certain types in respect to them. So as I mentioned, for example, if we talk about in terms of event, like for example, we have 4624, correct? It is for what? It is for log on. Okay. So log on to a system whenever there is a login to a system, whenever that login has been occurred, the event ID 4624 is generated at that moment. Okay. So it has certain types also, certain types. So if you see for 4624, if anyone is writing type 2 in your logs, if you see the type 2, it will be meaning like okay, like it's like a local logon. Okay, local logon is an interactive one. If you see type 3, guys, okay, type 3 would be remote ones. Okay, remote logon attempts are being made. So When you talk about in terms of SOC perspective or finding, any malicious activity, if you see type 3, multiple type 3s are there. 4624, multiple type 3 attempts are being made on an unusual note. At the same time, multiple attempts are being made. So that is kind of a concern of a, it will raise a concern because you can say someone is trying to remotely authenticate, isn't it? Can we say that? If you get multiple these kind of an attempts, 4624, that too type 3, right? So basically these kind of things, these event IDs are helpful in that way. Like when you're hunting for it, when you're searching for things. Transaction logs record database and payment transaction to ensure data integrity, right? Everything is fine. There is no changes in the modification in the transactions. Audit logs are there. Document events for accountability, compliance, and integrity. It's like first of all, our standard of we have some compliance which asks us to, store some logs, and apart from that we have audit logs are done so that we can perform the auditing against them. Accountability, for example, any Hari is doing some jobs, so whatever the activity or the job Hari is doing, those logs will be created and they'll be saved, so in order to provide the accountability that whatever the action has been taken for those actions, Hari is the one who will be accounted for all of those actions which has been taken by him or from his account, right? So we do document those events for accountability, right? And these logs are also used for like basically for inspection purpose as well. So different types of logs are there and they have different usage, right? So these log data, they can be from servers, web servers, application codes, database, network devices, and many more. So when you talk about these log datas or those events which has been generated, if you talk about which are being saved, so for example in the web server, if someone is performing SQL injection, first of all those will be logged, correct? For them events will be generated. For example, in SQL injection URL, some values are being traveling over there. Values would be like this: single quote or one equals to one hyphen hyphen space hyphen. That is kind of an SQL injection attack which is used for basically bypassing the authentication also. So when you're getting these kind of things in your logs, with the help of these things we can determine no that the SQL injection is going on, isn't it? So basically over here in terms of logs and events which you're talking about, every activity event will be creating a logs which will be stored, and with those events their event IDs are also stored along with that so that we can get to know what kind of event has been generated, whether it is suspicious or not, right? So these things has to be kept in mind. For that PDF file which I have, that kind of a cheat sheet, contact with me personally and I'll make sure to pass it on to you guys. Next bit is regarding security management, set of security activities. See guys, when we are talking about security management, these are part of a security management only: security info, security prevention, compliance validation, security operation. What do you understand with that? Hari, yes, it is a part of it. Definitely, I would say. Nice. Like, simply, what do you mean by security management? SIM tools, they are also part of it. SIM tools, they can also fall under the category of your this. We can say security operation. So we can exactly. So in short, see guys, when we are talking about Kesha, that are the capabilities, I would say. We'll talk about them as well. So yeah, so see security management, a security management system. Basically, they are just I would say, whatever the security activities are happening in the organization, okay, they are collected, okay, they are maintained and they are protected as well. Like in short, if I have to tell you security management in one liner, uh, the security activities which we do, okay, from the organization perspective I'm talking about. So whatever the security activities are done by the organization in order to maintain the posture of security up to a good level or adequate level, that will be known as your security management. Whatever activity which you are doing, for example, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, we talk about it a lot, right? So even I would say guys, if even if you are doing vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, that is also what, that is also part of your security management. Okay, because see, how's vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is helping us? Are we trying to determine the vulnerabilities beforehand, before any malicious attackers can take an advantage of that, right? We are trying to find out those vulnerabilities, and since we have to finding those vulnerabilities beforehand, we'll fix them as well, so that attacker cannot take an advantage of it, right? So by identifying the vulnerabilities beforehand, by fixing them beforehand, so that attacker cannot take an advantage of it, am I improvising the security posture of my organization? Am I doing that? By doing the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. See, when we talk about VAPT, no, it will fall under the category of security prevention only over here. VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. In vulnerability assessment, what we are trying to do, we try to scan our systems, our network, right? By scanning them, what do? We try to identify the vulnerabilities present over there. Once those weaknesses has been identified, what we do after that? So now once we have fixed it, it has been passed. Now what we are doing, we are not, like, we have fixed that issue, we have fixed that vulnerability, we have fixed that flaw, that weakness, and now attackers will not be able to take an advantage of it, correct? Because it is already fixed. So by fixing it, what we are doing, are we basically so security management is that thing only which I'm talking about in this way. What we are doing over here with the security management, basically we are trying to improvise the security posture. Okay, whatever the security activity which you are performing, we are trying to improvise the security posture of the organization, and we are trying to uh, put it into an etiquette level. Okay, that is what your security management does. Clear? So help us to maintain the security posture at an etiquette level. So different security activities are there in security management. Those security activities are these: security infrastructure, security prevention, compliance and validation, and security operations. So when we are talking about in terms of this, when we're talking about in terms of security infrastructure, we would be having parameter security. I'll just make a note for you. It can include your parameter security, infrastructure security, or you can say network security, application security, host security, right? Data security. All of these things are there when we talk about in terms of security infra. Okay, parameter, network, application security, host security, data security. When we talk about in terms of your this security prevention, as I mentioned, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing is there. Hurry, yes, definitely that can be counted as part of it as well, like multiple layer of defenses. Then security prevention, these will be like services like your vulnerability management and your penetration testing. When you talk about them, they make sure the security in your network against the vulnerabilities and threats are maintained. Okay, the security. So these services, they not only just scan, they test and identify the threats also in our internal and external networks, and help us to remediate or reduce those exposure, right? Apart from that, what else do we have? We have your guys compliance and validation. So various or different your governance, risk and compliance, your GRC programs are there. Okay, they help the organization to continue their business without any risk. Okay, so like for example, ISO 27001 is there, GDPR, ISO, your baseline security baseline policy documents for your information security management system, right? So these kind of things I'm talking about. They help us, the organization, to continue its business without any risk. By following them, we make sure that, correct? So we have policies for the same, we have regulations, standards to be followed, Then we have security operation. As I mentioned, security operation, what do we have? This is something basically which is performed by a SOC. SOC is in security operation center. So they do what? They do your real-time security alerting, real-time security alerting, over here. So they do the threat analysis, real-time alerting, threat analysis, threat intelligence. Like this. Correlation rule are defined, right? Incident reporting, detection, response, all of these are part of your SOC only. Okay. So in SOC we have these kind of activities which are being performed, right? Clear with this? So it is wisely said that you cannot prevent the cyber attacks. You know, so preventing cyber attacks reliably is almost impossible due to your ever-growing number of sophisticated and advanced attack techniques. So organizations they need to run their attention from preventing attacks to rapid threat detection and response. How much do you agree with this statement? Correct. So I'm repeating it again. Preventing cyber attacks reliably is almost impossible due to our ever-growing number of sophisticated and advanced attack techniques. So organizations they need to turn their attention from preventing attacks to rapid threat detection and response. That's how only we can tackle this kind of a situation. See, when you talk about in terms of security operations or SOC, what do we have? We have this one beautiful thing which is known with the name SIM. We have SIM and we have SIM. SIM and SEM. Anyone know the difference? Or what does that mean? We have SIEM, right? When we talk about SIM solution, security information and event management, this SIEM, it's a combination of this plus this SEM. So security information management and security event management. Security information management, yeah. So when you talk about SIM, security information management. So what it does when you talk about SIM, it just focus on the collecting, storing, and analyzing your security related data, okay, from various sources in the organization's IT infra. Here, your logs are aggregated, and your other security event information from devices like your firewalls, IDs, and those things are also aggregated. So your SIM, basically, they typically provide you the centralized storage for logs and data normalization, okay, making it easier to search, to correlate, and to analyze the security events which has been generated. Whereas when you talk about SIM, so it gives you real-time monitoring and analysis of the security events, okay, and the alerts are generated by the SIM component over there. So SEM is event management, SIEM is information management. So information management, when we talk about its portion is regarding collecting, storing, and analyzing your security data. This one, so collecting, storing, and analyzing, right, your security data. That is part of SIM, right? So your data normalization is done over here as well. When you talk about SEM, real-time monitoring over here, and the analysis of your security events and the alerts which are generated by your SIM component. So basically, it focuses on identifying the security threats and the anomalies, in the real time or near the real time over there. So, and also help us to go with the rapid response to those security incidents. So your correlation rules, threat intelligence integration, automated alerting, incident response workflow, all of those will be falling under the category of your security event management. So your SIEM, it's a combination of these two only. Okay. When you talk about in terms of SIM solutions, it is a combination of these two things. SIEM, security information management, and SEM, security event management. So SIM stands for, as mentioned over, which security information management, which helps organization to manage their security related data by collecting and analyzing security events from various sources in real time, as we have just mentioned before also and yesterday also. From different sources the where data has been collected, and those things are being pushed or integrated or ingested into your SIEM solutions. So SIEM solutions, they collect, stores, analyze, and reports on log data that is generated by various systems and the applications in a network. Others would be like you have taken an instance, or you can say just save those things and then you are analyzing it later. But when you're trying to look out for things at that specific time, raising tickets and then monitoring it, that will be real time part. The architecture of SIEM solution is over here. SIEM system inputs, we get the inputs. Event data and contextual data is over there. We have event data when we talk about in terms of system inputs which are ingested into SIEM solutions. We have event data like your applications, devices based database, operating system based data which are being collected. Those events which are being generated, those are a part of our event data. Contextual data would be like something more of an information based, like from vulnerability scans, from user information, asset information, threat intelligence, more context we are getting out of them. So that informative is part of your contextual data. So these things will be fed into your SIEM solutions. Along with that, what we do, we perform data collection and normalization. Guys, what is normalization? Anyone knows that? Right. So data is collected from different sources. They're normalized. See, data, when we talk about it, it's more of a raw data, right? It is not understandable, correct? Not in a proper structured format. So when you provide a structure to it, remove the duplicated data and everything, that will be part of your normalization, right? As you just mentioned, parsing is also there. Makes sense? We are normalizing the data, giving a structured format, making it more understandable. Then your indexing is also done. Do you know what is indexing, guys? You guys might have seen the novels, the books which you read. Jitendra, not exactly in that way. See, you might have seen the books, right? In that book, have you seen there's an index page? Why do you think those index pages are useful? What do they do? Helps you to easily find out the topic on that particular page number. Quick access point, right? Exactly in that way. Indexings are done with your those events, so that you can quickly grab those events whenever required, right? Correlation rules are mentioned. Logic rules, aggregations, data aggregation is done, and correlation rules are there so that we can make a sense out of it. It's just that correlation rule which I've mentioned before also, I guess. That, for example, just writing a not accurate, but yeah, just to give an idea. Log on dot failure if it's more than 3, and for the same user account, that too, failure duration is less than 2 minutes. So what is happening over here? We are saying that if there is login failure attempts, which is more than 3 tries, more than 3 login failure attempt has been made for the same user account, that too within 2 minutes of a time frame, we can say as per that you can raise an alarm, because we are considering that okay, this might be a attack, or someone is trying to brute force attack. Make sense? So we are doing what? We are correlating different events with each other, second and third. Okay, correlating 3 events with each other to make a sense out of it. That is correlation rule. Perfect. At this scenario also, what do we encounter? We encounter such things also, guys, which are with the names like alert. Okay, so if I give you conditions, like for example, alert said there is an attack going on, and in reality also there is an attack going on. That would be what? We have things like these. We have true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. Out of these 4, which one it will be? The first condition. Alert said that there is an attack going on, and in reality when we check there is an attack going on. That would be, Hari says true positive. What about others? Alert said that positive, there is an attack going on, and in reality also there is an attack going on. That makes this alert as a true one. So true positive will be the first condition. Nice answer. Here, Attack says that there is an attack going on, but in reality there is no attack going on. That would be attack says there is an attack going on. Attack says, oh, sorry, my bad. Alert says there is an attack going on and gives you positive. Alert says positive, there is an attack going on, but in reality there is no attack going on. That would be no true negative, no false negative. It would be false positive, guys. False positive. You guys might be wondering why. See, alert said what? There's an attack going on. Correct. So kind of alert gave us a positive scenario that okay, notifying everyone that there is an attack going on. But when we checked in reality, it was not a real. It was not an attack. There was nothing over there. So can we say it was a positive which was given by the alert? It was a false positive because it was a false information. Misconfiguration, firewalls, anything. Like for example, guys, if you take this example which we just discussed, this one, login failure attempts more than 3 and user account and for the same user account, that too within 2 minutes of a time frame. So for example, if Ganesh is trying to log in into his own account, official account, okay, and he forgot the password and he made more than 3 attempts, that too within 2 minutes of a time frame. So since Ganesh is trying to access his own account, can we say as per this condition when the alert was generated, it was a false positive alert? Because in reality it was Ganesh only who was trying to access his own account. He forgot the password and it was a genuine mistake from his end. It was not someone was trying to perform an attack, right? So that will be falling under the category of your false positive. Perfect. Now, next would be, see, alert over here said cross as in negative. Negative means no attack is going on, right? But in reality, when we checked, there was an attack going on. That makes this negative, this information given by the alert, true or false? False negative. Since the information which was given by the alert, it was a false information, and in reality there was an attack going on, that makes it false negative. A good example for that would be, can we say sort of a 0-day based attack? 0-day attack, right? Because our security tools are there which won't be able to identify it, and they will say, okay, there's no attack going on, but in reality there was an attack going on. Correct? Okay. Last one is alert says there is no attack going on, and in reality also there is no attack going on. That makes it true, negative. Simple. The information given by the alert was true only. Okay. So this would be regarding correlation, logic, rules, aggregation, and then we get the outputs, and the report is created after that. Analysis report at the end. This is part of your SIEM architecture. Jitendra, yes, extraordinary ways you can say. Next is regarding components and capability of SIEM, which we'll discuss. We can do one thing. We can just take a quick 5 minutes break. Let me have some water. My mouth is kind of a dry, and we can continue within 5 minutes. Okay. Now, when we're talking about in terms of components of the and capabilities of SOC, like as we have discussed this part also, like what all things are there when you talk about in terms of your SIEM solution, what it can do, right? So these are a couple of them. So log collection analysis, event correlation, right? Nice. Log forensics, IT compliance, application log monitoring, object access auditing, real-time alerting, user activity monitoring, dashboards, reporting, file integrity monitoring, system and device log monitoring, log retention, right? So it's like the capabilities also of your SIM as well as your, you can say, along with that, I would say SOC. So for example, log forensics is there. So here you can see using the SIM, your SOC analyst, they can use a structured log data to conduct an investigation, right? They can use a structured log data to conduct an investigation in order to identify the root cause of any particular attack pattern. And with the help of that, they can restrict the attacker's ability to perform attacks against the organization as well, right? In that way. Audit and compliance support, I would say, it is compliance. So with the help of SIM and that too in the SOC environment, I would say. So it not only collects and stores the logs, but also efficiently, retrieves them at the time of preparing for an audit as well. They can be helpful in that way, right? Uh, Real-time alerting, like you get the, like as I mentioned, whatever the activities are being performed at the moment, those things can be quickly. You can get that if someone is performing an attack, we can get an alert at the same amount of time, right? Log collections are done, right? Logs are collected. So logs are collected from various devices on a network that can have an impact on the security of the organization. Log retentions are there, right? So collected logs, they are recovered and stored centrally. Again, they can be used to perform forensics as well as threat control and for the prevention. Your log analysis are also done, right? So logs, they are analyzed through SOCs technologies to to extract the important information, like whatever the relevant metrics are there from that raw data, that can be done over here, right? So event correlation, which you just discussed, the events from the various sources, they are correlated, they are contextualized based on the set of predefined correlation rules, right? So different purpose dashboards are also there in the SIM, which are there helpful to create a report, and every that bit. If you want to see how it looks like, do you want to see it? I can quickly show you it. So here we'll try to open it. FC, let's see if you are in the luck. Okay, if it's still there. See, this is kind of a dashboard. Splunk Enterprise. Here you can see a lot of applications will be listed over here, which you're using. Search and reporting is the one which we use as of now. I'm trying to see something. I'll use this search and reporting where you can literally search for activities which are being performed, like monitoring. You can say real-time monitoring and alerting can be done over here. Data summary. Let me see if that rule is still there or not. Okay, so that I can show you real-time things how it looks like. Do you guys want to see that in real time how things looks like? Okay, launch your console. Here we'll be using Kali. Kali will be used as your, you can say, attacker machine. Perform the DOS attack. Okay. What we can do, we can monitor for the live traffic, right? So certain reporting. I'll go on documentation data summary. No, fine. Okay. Let's monitor something. Let's try to monitor. Add data. Monitor, see, in the system. So in Windows system, which I have right now, this is a Windows system, right? This is a Windows system, correct? See, so we'll try to monitor the traffic which will be coming over here. So what we can do, we can go with, and here we have to give the name. Okay, I would say Windows 10 SIM. Okay, any name you can give it over here. That's fine. So Windows 10 SIM network. I can say DOS. Just right, trying to. Okay, this would be fine. Keep it like that. This seems good. We'll be just monitoring these traffics. Next, infosec PC host field name. That's fine. Okay, perfect. So we'll just simply review it and submit it. Everything is fine. So we have created that kind of situation that in case if anything happens in Windows network, those alerts or those events will be generated for us. We can see those events now. Now what I will do, I'll go back to my Kali machine, which is our attacker's machine, and we'll be using a command from there, a DOS attack command. Before that, let me just check whether my port is working or not. 1. See, I have made my Windows as a server also. So you can see so that I can open its port number 80. Make sense? I'm trying to open its port number 80 also. Okay? By doing this. Ganesh, licensing base 500 MB. I'll show you that license. So this is my Windows, you can say port number 80 is open because I have made it as a server right now. So with the help of Kali, we'll try to perform an attack over here. So now, let's write it hping 3 -c 500. -c as in packet count. HPN3 is a tool which you are using. 500 packet count. -d for like basically data size. 120. -s setting the SYN flag, which is used to initiate your TCP connection, right? -w as in Windows size. Let's say 64. -p port number which you are targeting is port number 80. Hyphen flood it out, right? So send packets as fast as possible with the hyphen flood. Do not show me the replies. I do not want it. Go with the random source, right? So random source address will be used, and target machine is 192.168.8.15 if I'm not wrong, right? Okay, nice. Hit enter. Okay, these many packets has been sent, right? That's fine. Okay. Now, if I try to go over here into my Windows machine, go for this Splunk where we are monitoring it over here. And since we have submitted it, start searching. Let's see. Okay, this is just now what we have done regarding that. The packets are being generated over here. So if I write like port number 80, which we were targeting, and inbound, right? Because the traffic was coming to the Windows machine, the inbound traffic. Let's see if we're able to fetch it over here or not. Yeah. Can you see inbound traffic, right? We target port number 80 from Kali machine. And since it was coming from Kali to the Windows machine, so we'll write inbound traffic to C, correct? Because from Kali it was, right now we are inside Windows machine, right? So whatever the traffic which is coming from Kali, it will be inbound traffic. Outbound would be the one which is going from Windows to Kali. Make sense? Yeah. So we are trying to see those things over here. So just to give you an idea how alerts are created, how alerts looks like, this is just extra bit which is not part of the course though, but still I can click on save as alert. Title, you can get everything, like for example DOS attack. Okay, description, anything you want to, real time. Okay, per results, number of results, if it's greater than, let's suppose 55 in 1 minute, throttle less than 60 seconds. Actions, I need to trigger alerts. Severity, let's suppose we are saying severity is high, so alert should be generated. I do not want anything like we can run a script, we can send an email, whatever we want to. I just want to trigger an alert. That's it. I'll simply save it. View alert. The alert is created over here. See, right? If I go back over here in the Kali, try to perform the attack again. Let's see. Let's wait for a while. Okay, let's stop it. Many has been sent. Okay, that's too many by the way. Now, if I go back to my Splunk, go for activity triggered alerts. Can you see, guys? Alerts has been generated now. DOS test. We wrote DOS test only, right? We just made alert for that on the basis of DOS test only. DOS test. Correct? So this is how your alerts are also generated. Got an idea how things looks like? So the more the rules you create, the better alerts you will be getting over there. Okay? Many alerts are there. So anyway, this would be it for the day. Meanwhile, oh, I haven't changed it or what? In view results over here, if you click over here, this is how it will look like. See, it will simply show you those events in the results. That was just an alert that what has activity has happened. That activity is being displayed over here now. But anyway, the main thing was to give you an idea about how things looks like. So this is what we were talking about. But yeah, I'm just trying to give it a try again, once again. Meanwhile, you guys do one thing, kindly fill the feedback form in case if you have missed it, anyone. Okay, so it's kind of an important, it's very valuable for you guys also, so that you guys can get some certificate out of it. Now see, once I close it, I go to SIEM trainer, that is SIM solution. And if you refresh it again, I'm just refreshing it again. Can you see the high? Earlier, actually, that was another alert which got triggered. This is the current one. So I deleted it. I removed it and just made it one. So this is the one which we just made. So now we got the high result as a severity. Okay. Earlier we were just checking for DOS test. Actually, we made DOS attack, right? So that's why we were looking onto the wrong alert. Actually, that's why. So I just completely removed it and made it fresh for you. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So then these alerts are passed, these alerts are investigated, then you see the severity, pass it to incident response team if it's required that kind of an action from their end. Okay. So perfect. That would be it. And that's it. So thank you. Thank you everyone.